Survivor Now podcast.
I was busy on the beach, like I was on Survivor.
I don't believe anything you say on Survivor. I almost called it.
It's now time.
I'm so excited.
Oh no!
I actually love you, but
Oh, it's so rough.
I gotta go. I got something to do. Not as exciting as this. I'll tell you that right now, but
I love it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Got Something For You. My name is Phil. I usually say, as always, with me is Ali, but as you see, Ali is not here. Sitting in his place is the lovely Tori. Hello, Tori.
Gorgeous Tori.
Yes. Well, thank you. I mean, I shouldn't say yes, but thank you.
Yes,
both.
you should, girlfriend.
All right.
Own it.
I'm just so happy to be here. I love podcasting in general, but I'm just especially happy to be podcasting with the both of you. I'm excited to talk this episode. I'm excited to talk to you lovely people. It's just going to be a great day.
And you've already heard the voice. You might recognize it already. We've got the phenomenal Janet Carbin with us. Apologies. Janet Carbin with us. How are you doing, Janet?
I am doing awesome. So I just came off of the Kings, No Kings March, but prior to that, my hairstylist, Chris, was doing my hair for me because I have an event, a women's event in New Jersey next Thursday. And he's like, all right, you have to do it this way. And then we're going to do it. Then you can live your life with your bicycle helmet and all of your swimming without it. But this is what you have to do. I'm like, okay, Chris.
I love it. I love it. And look, just like Sophie was loyal to her nail tech, I'm sure you stay loyal to your hairstylist.
Well, I do. And I let my hair grow. I walked in and he stood behind me and says, what did you do? I said, I made it so you could do whatever you want. He's like, oh my God, you don't even look like you. Let's make this work.
I love it. I love it. Well, look, today we are going to be talking about episode 4 of season 49. Just like to take a little temperature check right from the start. What did you all think about episode 4? Janet, I'll start with you.
Okay. I think this is where we're starting to get into the meat of the game. I love some of the relationships that are coming out of. Can I talk about the swamp, or is this too early?
Oh, yeah. No. They've seen the episode.
Okay. Swap screwed is a real thing. It's definitely a real thing. I was swap screwed, but you have to learn, okay, I'm swap screwed. What do I got to do? And some of the people did that and some struggled, and it's unfortunate. It really is. But all right. So somebody else talk because I could go on.
Yeah, no worries. Yes, and we will definitely be getting into the nitty gritty. Tori, overall, what did you think about the app?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Janet, you said it. I think that we're finally getting into the meat of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm continuing to enjoy that this has just overall not been a super challenge. I mean, I'm sorry. I keep saying challenge instead of advantage, but I don't know what that is. I'm continuing to enjoy that this hasn't been a super advantage heavy season. And so this was not a super advantage heavy episode other than Riz God finding his idol. We didn't get a lot of advantages and things like that.
I love him.
Yeah, I'm loving him too. His personality is great. I think that it was a shame. I forget who said this in the episode, but I think that whoever said the thing about how when you spend all of this time building these relationships and then to have all of that shattered is just like the biggest bummer in the whole world. Whoever said that just kind of nailed it, but that's really Survivor. What can you do? You have to start back from square one. You have a lot of kind of curveballs come at you in the game of Survivor, and you have to build new relationships. So that really sucks for Yellow and Red to have built these like really strong alliances, but I'm excited to see where the game goes.
I have to piggyback on that because this episode actually brought me back a lot of PTSD stuff where my feelings for different people and why those feelings were. And I think this episode actually showed a lot of that. See, when you're like those first few days on the island, when you are shocked, you may have been fed because you just came off of the mainland and all that. So you're not starving, But I think every single person can relate to one day, maybe they didn't eat till the end of the day, how their stomach's growling. And all of these different hardships that you go through in the first couple days, the hunger, honestly for me, and my job was outside all the time. I was outside all the time. But then when I was like there at night going, shit, I got to sleep outside. You know what I mean? It's like, and then those struggles really do form a different bond. I have to say, like the bond that I have with my Vokai, which was my beginning tribe, is very different. I'm not saying it's stronger or less, but it's very different from the bonds that you build later on. Those initial hardships really glue you together.
And you know what, Janet? I think this is a phenomenal place to start, considering we enter the episode to blue down to just two. Finding the best layout here. Down to just two tribe members.
Yeah.
We've got Sophie and Alex, who have just been absolutely depleted from the top of the game. They are the disaster tribe that we have become so used to seeing in this new era. And this is sort of what you were talking about, Janet, is that these two, I mean, they've gone through the ringer together. And you just they watched Jake literally leave the game via medevac. And at the end of the day, you see this hug here. Like, I'm sure it's like, man, this just feels like it's just us here, because it is.
I got to tell you, I could almost feel the emotions. Sorry, there's something outside. I hope that noise isn't bothering you.
Not bad.
But I could almost feel the emotions that they are feeling in that exact hug right there.
Right.
Because there's this primal of, oh my God, thank you for being here. And it's just, I can't explain it. It's a feeling. And I truly believe that these two down the line, if they're in there together, are going to have a bond somewhere down the line, that because of what they struggled through.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. You get out on Survivor. I've never been out on Survivor, but I would imagine that you get out on Survivor, and it's just like any other situation. You get out in the world and you always have this feeling of these bad things can happen, but it's never going to happen to me. And I'm sure that this moment was kind of that. Like, you get out on Survivor and there's this idea that there could be a disaster tribe, but that could never happen to us. We're strong, we're social, we're strategic. This idea of the disaster tribe could never be you and me. But here we are, it's become us and we're down to two. And that's got to be so crazy for that to sink in, and for it to be down to the two of them. Like that's just, it's got to be just so surreal for those two people to be the two that have survived. And like, there's just so much luck involved too. Like they're two great Survivor players, but to have been through that many tribal councils already and to be the last two standing, that's just insane.
Not to mention,
it is.
Not to mention, we get to this scene here, and Sophie is telling the rest of the other two tribes, "I lost my shoes last night." I mean, these two genuinely cannot catch a break.
Johnny Fairplay just texted me, because believe it or not, he and I are very good friends. And he said, "Send him the link. He'll jump in if you want."
Ooh.
Oh, Johnny Fairplay?
Yeah, because he's, believe it or not, we are very close.
I was just at his party the other night.
Okay, well, he said, send me the link. I'll jump on for a minute if you guys want to send it.
Okay, yeah.
That's your call.
Yeah. Let's Tori, I'm gonna side chat you on the side here. In the meantime, I do want to know, when we're looking at this challenge here, when we're all, we have these three tribes standing on the mat. We obviously know that a tribe swap is coming. Do you feel like there's ever like an inkling where you could sort of feel it in the air? You were out there, Janet.
Oh my God. I got to give you a little quick funny story.
Please.
So you have no idea when things are happening, but you kind of guess. So we were like, okay, we think there might be a swap coming up and we need to prepare for it. So we're doing all these things outside of the game. Okay, if this happens, you're going to do that. If that happens, you're going to. Okay, so let's go clean our clothes. So we try and clean our clothes so we don't smell, but we stunk to high heaven. And, you know, you just like, you get into the, I can still remember my swap. I can still remember it. We got there, we were all clean and shiny. We thought we were like, you know, this is going to work out. And I got swap screwed on mine. But, you know, it was like, you have an idea, but your stomach's in your throat when you're walking into that. And I got to tell you, when these two walked up alone like that, I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad for them. But at the same time, they're so bonded. They are so, I'm telling you guys, we're going to see something later down the line about the bonding that these two have.
Well, what's interesting about being down to, I mean, we haven't seen a tribe get down to 2 people in a very long time, but we have seen tribes get down to 3 people in the new era a few times. So we've seen these like disaster tribes. I think that there's this like common theme that's come up a few times. And what's kind of interesting is that if you can make it down to those 2 or 3 people, it's kind of a great place to be, because if you can then be like, you know, kind of like in this like tribe swap, it's kind of like the best place to be, because everybody then like wants to work with you because you're a number then. And then,
right.
You know, no one's really looking at you to get out because you're not really a threat. Like you're not, you're not really with anybody. Like people just like kind of need you to work with you. So if you can kind of make it, like obviously like it sucks to have to go to that many tribal councils, and it's like, you don't really want to be the disaster tribe because like there's no guarantee that you're really going to make it down to those 2 or 3 people. But if you can be confident that you're in like a safe spot, like Sophie kind of was, Alex, you know, was also in kind of a good spot, obviously, because he made it down to those 2 people. That's just like the kind of interesting thing to me. And we kind of saw it with like, for example, like Kenzie's tribe in 46, like she was in kind of a good spot. And then like, you know, she was kind of like sitting pretty up until like, the end of the game. So
yeah,
that's just the kind of interesting thing. So it's almost like, is it kind of like a cool thing and a good thing to be in the disaster tribe if you could be like sitting in a really great spot on the disaster tribe? Maybe it is.
Yeah, and I'll show you right here. I mean, obviously, this is the result of the tribe swap. As you see, on one side, we have Nate, Savannah, Sophie, Jason, Rizzo, Jawan, and Matt. And on the other side, we have Alex, Christina, Sophie, MC, Sage, Shannon, and Steven. And so this disaster tribe, which came down to just 2 people, got split to either side. Janet, I'm so excited to hear what you think about this. Like, you know, these two, as Tori was just saying, you know, when you come from a disaster tribe, there's almost an unspoken rule that you're going to be more safe when you get to your new tribe because you're less threatening. But at the same time, you no longer have the only other person that you had in this game. What was your take on this?
Okay. This is good because I really was impressed with some stuff that went on. So you're the odd man out and you go into, you know, the stronger tribe. You've got to sit back and watch who's talking to who's going off to the water together. And then you need to find the crack to find the bottom, because there's always a person on the bottom. So once you find that person on the bottom, you need to establish that relationship as quickly as possible. In this game, you have about 2 to 3 hours to make connections with people before you're going to tribal. You know, you go in as the bottom person and you're like, oh my God, I would be the easy vote out. How am I going to turn this around? And you have to do that by connections, and they have to happen really, really, really fast. Am I answering your question?
You look, Janet, you being here, you could have told me anything, and we're still getting something because you had the actual experience. You were actually
okay. Well, it is insane when you walk into that situation, but it's an opportunity. Now, some of the notes that I wrote down on it is your stomach is totally floppy going into that. And I got to tell you, when you're as depleted with clothing and food and everything like that, and somebody, shows you a little bit of kindness, all of a sudden you latch on to that person and they're your new best friend. And then that relationship builds, and then that's where the cracks go. That's how you've got to form those cracks, and you've got to get when we got to Sophie.
Yeah.
Sophie was fine. Sophie had already established herself in the community of the four, and she was there. I mean, if you watch that scene, she's just sitting back. Shit, I'm safe. You know?
You can see it right here. I mean, they all took her so quickly. But you're right. It's not promise. But she
did a good job.
Oh my God. Phenomenal job. She did a really good book, truly.
And her relationship with Shannon, it's Shannon, right? The reporter?
Savannah.
Sorry. Savannah. She went right to the head of that. And I'm sure, I don't know if we're seeing it there, but Savannah's the head of that tribe.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
And
100%.
She went there and she went on the let's go girls, girlfriends kind of, I'm sure, sitting there as another girl. And she used that to establish herself with her. And she's in, baby. She did a good job.
I've got a question for you, Janet.
Yeah.
And first of all, you give so much here. I feel like I'm just going to be quiz bowling you so much. But I'm just so curious because I like what you said there. You're absolutely right. We saw that Savannah and Sophie had this immediate bond. But to your point, right? I mean, do you think that has to be or as organic as it might have seemed here, where Savannah's saying, look, this girl reminds me of my close friends back home? Or do you think that it was more of a sort of how you outlined it, where it's like, was Sophie going, okay, this woman is the head of the snake over here, I have to get in with her? Do you think it's organic, or do you think it's strategy in a little bit more? Yeah.
I think it was organic on not Sophie. Savannah's part. I think it was very organic. I think she was deprived enough of her good girlfriends. Her good girlfriend. And here comes this girl that looks like somebody that's her good girlfriend. So I think it was very organic on her part. But I think Sophie really used it and took it and ran with it. And kudos to her. She put herself in a position at that point in the tribe better than those two gentlemen who have been in, with them.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's a great question in the chat from Isabel here. Do you think Sophie is higher on the totem pole than Jawan?
Yes.
Yeah. I think so.
I think so too. Go ahead and talk that through, Tori.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think strictly because, like, when you have the ability to vibe with somebody just off the bat and they haven't pissed you off yet, that alone gives you just like better social status in the game. Jawan has pissed Savannah specifically off more than one time. I mean, what comes to mind first is the bag thing. And then there's been at least one other instance that I can't think of the exact thing, but Jawan has kind of stumbled through the game a couple of times. So, and it was kind of funny to me. Jawan made me laugh a couple of times in this episode because he was on the bottom and he showed self-awareness in this episode. Like, he knew that he was on the bottom and he mentioned that a couple of times. But it was funny because he was also, while showing self-awareness, he also showed like this sort of like confidence in this episode where like I was kind of like, you're on the bottom, dude. Like you don't like, why are you showing so much? I don't know. Like, it was just like, he was like showing up with this like kind of macho man like mentality. I was like, dude, like you need to knock it off. Like you don't get to act like that when you're on the bottom.
And by the way, Tori, I'm excited to talk about this a little bit later because you're right. I do think that Jawan showed a lot of confidence despite his positioning on his original tribe. But, when there are swaps on Survivor, anything can change. And I think that this scene is so funny when we see these two laughing about the fact that they're hanging out on, formerly Hina's comfort reward. And they're like, we're in a lap of luxury right now. I cannot remember, Janet. Can you please remind me and the audience when you had a swap, were you swapping away from your rewards, or were you swapping into more rewards, or did you stay on the same tribe camp?
No, I personally went to a different camp.
Okay. Did you feel like you went to a more desperate camp, or did you have more rewards waiting there for you?
At that point, I'm going to say it was pretty even.
Okay.
My old camp did have a hammock.
Okay.
But I hated the hammock.
Really?
Yes, I did.
So you would not have been hanging here with Rizzo and Savannah.
I would not have been. The only way I would have been on those hammocks is if I was in desperate need of just laying flat, which I probably would have gone to the beach and done. They were those hammock things, the squares hurt. Unless you could put a blanket down or something, it like digs into your skin. Unless they're different from the ones I had, but ours were terrible. We both had tarps. I did see. Here's the other thing. My camp at Vokai, we built, and this was a first for Survivor, believe it or not. I said, "Why are we?" I couldn't sleep on the bamboo. Horrible. So we said, let's make tree forts. So we made tree forts in the trees that were there, made cover like Tom Sawyer. I'm like, we need to be like on the island. So we wound up actually expanding into like 3 of them. Then when I got swapped, I lost my tree forts. So
you left that behind.
Huh?
So you ended up leaving that behind.
I did. And that was hard for me. But at that point, I was also on the bottom. So I was trying to work. I slept in the sand because I had to work my magic, which I did.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, Tori, I want to know what you think about this. I mean, I found this scene so funny just to see the 2, former Red Tribe members on what is ultimately, the Yellow Tribe, and being able to sort of laugh and be like, can you believe it? We essentially took the reward. We didn't even have to work for this. And look at us. We get to lay on these hammocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so great.
I
found that funny. Janet, sorry, I thought you were maybe going to say something, but
I was, but I held back.
Oh, okay. Well, no, go ahead. I want to hear your thought too.
Their comfortability is bad. They need, they need to be out doing well. Maybe they don't. Maybe they feel like they don't. I mean, obviously, they went and dug for the idol. Can I jump to that?
Yeah. We
okay.
can jump around a bit.
So he's got the other 3 digging for the idol, and there's so much loyalty there. Like, I'm like, why are they even telling him?
Yeah.
I would have dug for the idol and said, yeah, buddy. No, what idol? What are you talking about?
You're talking about, are you saying like Rizzo specifically is like kind of living like a king a little bit?
Yes. And that's the picture looks like.
I find it funny. Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like from a viewer standpoint, I do think like, I wonder if we're not seeing some of the other tribe members. And like, obviously this tribe,
we're not.
This tribe hasn't been together very long. Like, obviously we just got the tribe swap, but I wonder if the other tribe members are starting to recognize that he's sort of like sitting back and letting like his alliance sort of like play for him. And he's sort
I can guarantee you they're seeing that.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to start coming into play a little bit. Like he's like being very comfortable in the hammock. He's letting his alliance like dig for him. I wonder if it's going to come up that he like cheated on the puzzle challenge, like day 1 against Alex. Like he's getting like very lucky and he's living very comfortably out on Survivor. So,
and I love him. I absolutely love him.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, from a viewer standpoint, like, to your original question, Phil, like, I love seeing, like, them sort of, like, laugh, like, ha, 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 we're, like, living on Hina's beach, like, enjoying what they won for themselves. Like, I think that's funny.
Well, I think he's really smart, and I think he's a very good player, but I think he's a little too naive in some ways. And I think that's going to bite him in the butt.
Ladies, I just want to say on the back end here, we have been working to get the one, the only Johnny Fairplay.
My boy.
have here, and it looks like he just entered the studio. I want to make sure we have a thumbs up from Johnny when he's ready.
Where
Here we
is he?
are. We've got
Let's
the
go.
legend, not Rizzo, Johnny Fairplay. How are you doing, Johnny?
Hey, honey, how are you? He can't hear me.
It's frozen.
Oh,
Oh, there you are.
how you doing, Johnny? Can you hear us?
I'm good.
Johnny, make the connection better. Come on.
Can't see me. I'm not on the screen.
Oh, now I see you. I see you now.
Yeah, we see you, but you're frozen.
Yeah, he's sort of coming in and
Good.
out there.
See me on the screen.
All right, definitely have a little bit of technical difficulties there. We've got Ollie working in the background.
Johnny, come back on when you get it.
But moving forward here, I do want to talk about this, which we talked a little bit about Savannah and Sophie. I think that it really makes a big difference when you were able to find someone in the game that reminds you of someone from home.
And that was clutch. And that's where the luck comes in. You know, that's where she just happened. That's the luck part of it. But these two girls, and by the way, MC's my girl, by the way. I have to put that out there. I love her.
She's great.
She's a strong, confident woman who isn't afraid to take charge, and I love it.
Yeah, I can. We will definitely be talking about MC because she had an incredible episode. Johnny.
Hey.
There we go. Are you
I'm showing off my cancer scar. I just want to be a badass.
I want to see your new tattoo.
I got lots. I got we redid that, and then there's House of Villains, and there's Pinball. There's my George Australian style tattoo. Yeah. We got the dead grandma tombstone. Yeah. So we're sleeving up. We're sleeving up. There's so everybody wears sunscreen because I'm a moron and didn't. So there you go. So.
When are you getting that taken care of? I hope soon.
We're good. It's done.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they cut it out. We're done.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny.
There you go. So everybody wears sunscreen, wear a hat, all the things.
Did you tune in for episode 4, Johnny?
So I had a viewing party in Chicago with Jam Jam. So I watched, but while working the room in a like a very large room. We had a theater, and then we had like 4 other televisions. It was a private like 30-person. It was free booze, free. It was nuts. It was nuts. So we were at like a penthouse in Chicago. It was crazy. So I watched. It was funny because we had the closed captionings on. Closed captioning because all the people, and like the final tribal council deal, they're talking, and it's just like well, Xander said this, and we're like, Xander, what? And it was
where is he?
And it was just like, and so Sandra was misquoted by closed captioning, as I was just like, who's quoting Xander? Like, wow, this new era really sucks if we're going for Xander deep dives and not the Queen.
And look, Johnny, what we got you here, I mean, what other highlights do you recall from the episode? Again, in a crowded room, in a penthouse, people are drinking. It might not be the place where you're remembering everything, but what are the highlights that you really recall?
What's her name? Is Sophie on the screen right there?
Sophie and Savannah here.
Yeah, we love Sophie. Jam that Sophie is Jam Jam's pick. I love Sophie as well. She's just a mess, and I love a mess. So
I love Sophie, but MC is my girl.
Well, I tell that to the editors because we're not getting a ton. I feel that when you're an alternate, they're just like, we only have enough lower thirds for the people that were supposed to be on the show, and we have to really limit the amount of lower thirds we use for alternates while we're playing the game. I guess Jason got a little benefit this week, but MC's a beast. Like,
I love her. She's the strong woman.
Oh yeah, I secretly I'm secretly a fan of the meat shield, and I feel that that MC would be the perfect new incarnation of a meat shield, and I would use
She
that. as
could
my
be, yeah. She
I like
totally could be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And you know what?
By
think
the
is
way,
interesting?
I
Go ahead,
think
Jay.
Jason can go very far in this game. I really do.
I mean, he was already on the block once, so
Yeah,
we'll
but
see.
that doesn't matter. I think he can do it.
I found myself in trouble early, like once or twice, and that didn't really affect anything. But I think it's funny because I'm seeing some of these players, and I'm like, oh, that's the Temu version of so and so, and that's the T. I think Jason is just our other version of Kenny. So he's Super Smash Brothers. He's funny. He's fun. He's likable.
Yeah, he's smart.
I don't see it as a downgrade. There are a few players on this cast. I'm just like, yeah, that's definitely a Temu so and so. But I'm not here to make fun. I'm here to prop up. So yeah, so I am a Team Jason guy.
Yeah,
I love it. And look, Johnny, we're so happy that you popped in here just to show that we got some love from our chat
he's
here.
my guy.
All right,
He's my guy.
this is great. We've got Ali, who's typically my co-host on this show. Missed one episode, two amazing guests join.
That's what happens.
I'm happy that you made the time to sort of pop in here. Before we go, what are you going on coming up? Anything that you want to share?
Let's see. I just left a food truck rodeo. I am on my way to the North Carolina State Fair. Tomorrow, I doing commentary for Revolution Wrestling Authority. And then next week, November 2nd, I will be defending the Boca Raton Championship Wrestling Cruiserweight Championship of the World. I am in a fatal four-way match. It's myself versus... oh my God, who do I have? I have Alan S2S. I have Bobby Fish from AEW and Ray Fury. And the deck has never been stacked more against me. However, if I can beat cancer, I can beat three losers at professional wrestling.
Let's go.
That's what they say. That's what they say. Well,
it's the word on the street. I've been working out. We're good.
Looking great. Thank you for coming on, talking to us for a little bit.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
Sure. Well, Janet hit me up before. She had an inquiry, and I was just like, I was like, just pass the baton. I'm right. I got your back. So
you always have my back, Johnny.
I do.
I love you.
Do. Hey, Janet, did you see Australian Traders cast Shane Gould?
I saw.
So there's still hope for Janet. There's still hope for Janet in America for something. we'll figure it out, but there's still hope. I think me and Jam are going to put together two more viewing parties in America. I think we're going to do Cincinnati and maybe LA. So go to survivortix.com and click that subscribe button. You'll get the update as soon as we decide on a date. So my schedule's been crazy. I just have a lot going on, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I'm 51 and I'm tired, guys. So let me enjoy the second half of my life here, and I'll do what I can.
Sounds cool.
All right,
there we go, Johnny. You have never
call me next week. Let's talk.
We'll do.
All right.
Thanks again.
Phil was about to give me a compliment. Let him give me a compliment.
Go give him a compliment. Go ahead, Phil.
Oh, give him a compliment. Well, you look great. You love your tattoos.
You're about to say something about how great I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I said you never looked better, Johnny. Thank you for stopping on.
It's the Botox. It's the Botox. It helps.
There we go.
We love Botox.
No, it's not. He's been running. So don't let him fool you.
All right, let's get back into this episode and truck along a little bit here.
Sorry, guys.
We also have no, it's okay. We love having guests come on. Obviously, our audience does too. He has a halo of light. Zan's unsubscribed so that he can subscribe again. People are loving it.
Good.
But we do have another new tribe to talk about. This is Alex, Christina, Sophie, MC, and Sage, Shannon, and Steven. What did we think about this tribe? Did we have any expectations? We obviously did not get to see them as much, but what did we think seeing this tribe together?
Do you guys want to go first?
Janet, I
want to hear from you, Janet, and then I'll go.
Well, I first of all, good for Alex. I think the fact that he's a strong, physically strong player is an advantage for him. I think he is going to have to break into this tribe a little bit more on his relationship side. And there's some really interesting people on this tribe. I could see this tribe changing a lot because the personalities are really different, I think.
I agree with you. I mean, we have a whole tribe set up doing, breath meditation yoga.
Okay.
Shannon.
This brought me back to when I was on the island and Nora had us all standing on the beach. And when Alex was opening his eyes and looking, and people were opening their eyes and looking, Nora had us doing, and I'm like, so I'm doing this and I'm laughing at Jack. Jack's like, don't laugh. And I'm seeing this whole thing, and you have to do it. You can't not do it. You have to sit there and act like you like it.
Yeah.
Take a ADHD person like myself and try and tell them to breathe and be calm.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting strategy. But it's funny. I mean, not only did she do it on her first tribe, she did it on this swap tribe as well. Tori,
I know.
What did you think? What did you think about it?
Yeah, I do agree that this is an interesting mix of people, personality-wise. I thought that the reads on Shannon were interesting and accurate. I think that coming from Sage and Steven, I thought it was interesting to hear that they were reading her kind of like spirituality as being sort of dangerous. I liked that they were kind of like seeing that as a red flag. And I specifically liked that coming from Sage because I liked seeing her seeing her as a game player, because I didn't know if we were gonna see her as a game player.
Mm-hmm.
No shade at Sage, but I just thought that maybe she was gonna be kind of like a wacky character, kind of like more of like a side character kind of thing. But I think she's here to play more than we realized. And so we saw her kind of saying like, she's really leaning into her spirituality. And I'm not liking that because people are kind of like sort of like trusting her, and she's like using that to her social advantage. And I'm not buying it, and I'm not liking it. So that's gonna make me put her on my chopping block later on. So yeah, I'm liking Sage a little bit more now.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Sage. We're definitely going to get back to. I'm sorry. We're going to get back to Shannon and Sage a little bit later this episode. But first, we do go back to the other tribe, and we see Nate getting emotional about missing his folks back home. I mean, Janet, when you were out on the island, you obviously had some folks, waiting for you back here in the U.S. I mean, is this something that you feel maybe sooner than some people think? Because I have seen discourse online where people are saying, oh, they've been out there for 10 days. They've only been out there for X amount of days. Are they really missing them that much? But I would assume that it's probably an accelerated process. Like when you're, because you're depleted of everything. I mean, what was your experience?
I totally empathize with him. If you've ever been in extreme conditions, which very few people are, where you're not eating, you're not sleeping, you're dirty, you're smelly, all that kind of stuff, the bonding effect really takes place. And with that, all of your emotions are on like your fingertips. Like everything is exposed. You're happy, sad, all that stuff. The difference that I see happening, and I'm not sure if it's in the editing or not, and I don't think it is. Every one of us had moments like that. Jamal on my, I never saw Jamal physically cry, but I knew when he had his moments when he went off. I had my moments when I went off. Most of our moments were alone because you didn't want anybody else to see them because that would show you as weak. This does not seem to be the case. where showing emotions is a weak thing. So that's very different for me.
Right.
When we talked about our families of the past, we all like that pain inside, I mean, my granddaughter at that time, she was 3. I talked to her every day prior to me going on Survivor. And I knew this child would have no idea, and she didn't, where grandma went. Why isn't grandma talking to me? And I'm on the island. We used to be on the island worrying about our families, worrying about us.
Huh.
Like Tommy used to say, I'm worried, they're just worried that I'm going to do it and I'm starving or this, because they don't know what's going on with us, So that's a lot of, when I look at this picture and him wiping his tears away, that's a lot of what I feel. I feel the concern about what my family back home is worried about me. However, I'm shocked at all of them for showing so much emotion to each other on that level. I felt if I were to show that to somebody, it would say, let's send her home. She needs to go see her family.
Yeah, and just going from one emotional moment to another, I think I wanted to save this moment right here.
Mm-hmm.
Back on the other tribe, we get Christina, of course, sort of grappling with losing her mother,
Mm-hmm.
who she regarded as her best friend.
Right.
This definitely hit with me. I'm unbelievably close to my mother, and it's just one of those things where just for her to even have the added layer that, thank God I don't necessarily, I don't have, where, she was talking about how her mom struggled with addiction, and, and you see Shannon, sort of keeping her company here.
I love this moment.
Right. Giving her space to really talk and share. What did you love about this moment, Janet?
I loved because it was private. It was true. And just like you, Charlie's mother, Jessie, my daughter, even today, I probably talk to them twice a day, twice a day. Prior to that, I would say she is my best friend on some level, my daughter. This is what I saw. That's what I related to when I looked at this picture, and I see the way these two are relating to each other. And I liked it because it's private. It wasn't in front of the whole tribe.
Right.
And she, I don't even think she broke down crying, or did she? I don't remember.
She did. Christina was definitely crying, and even Shannon was crying alongside her.
But it was different tears. It was an emotional release of tears.
And it's interesting. I mean, I'd love to get your take, Tori, because, there are people that have definitely, talked about, Shannon sort of weaponizing her emotions to try to get close. Did this feel authentic to you, Tori? I mean, what did you think about this moment?
Yeah, I definitely, I'm in agreement with Janet here. Just for the fact that, they were off on their own. So I don't think that it was performative. I do think that maybe the other stuff from Shannon, like I was saying earlier, I do think that was a little bit performative, like Sage was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that this moment was super authentic. And then just like a side fact, so I'm a teacher, and I think that I see a lot of people like being really addicted to their phones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so any sort of like human moment where people can really connect without like technology, I think is like really important, and I really like notice that. And so that's one of the things I really notice about Survivor, and one of the things I really like about Survivor is that they're like really forced to do that. And so like anytime that they're really able to like really connect and like on an emotional level, I mean, obviously nobody has phones or technology out there, but like this moment, like it's just so real, and it just shows people's like real actual ability to like have that real connection, and that you don't need to like sit there and like text or like communicate in any sort of like other way, and that you can really have like a real like actual bond with somebody. So I don't know, like those kinds of things, like I really sort of like pick up on, and like I really like. So I do think that this was like really real.
There's moments when you're on the island that you don't feel like you're playing the game. They're very small. They're very snippets. And I believe this was one of those moments. They weren't playing the game here. they were being true to each other's heart. That's what I believe.
There we go. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it looks like, I definitely stand with the both of you. Isabel in the comments here, I almost cried. It was so beautiful. I do think that a lot of people were touched by this moment. And that is someone, I mean, I think especially coming from someone like Christina, like I'm happy she got this moment. It's a shame that, different conversation, but I do feel like the editing this season in terms of giving each contestant their time has been awful. I'm just going to say it. It's been awful. There are straight up contestants where I'm like, man, I feel like they said only 3 things, and we're on episode 4, and I did start to feel like Christina was fading in the background. I'm happy that we got this because it gives us a reason to care. It gives us a reason to sort of go get into who she is, her ethos as a human, and I do think that a lot of people left this episode feeling moved by this moment. However, as we spoke about, we also have Sage. Who has been seeing Shannon go around, speak on her faith, speak to her spirituality. And, it is Sage's take that she might be sort of weaponizing this for strategy. 1, do you think that that's effective, Janet, Tori? And 2, do you think that that's what's happening? Outside of just that one scene with Christina and Shannon, but on the whole.
Tori, you go first.
I do think that she was kind of, I believe that the term was laying it on thick. I do think that she was laying it on a little thick in the moments that we saw. I mean, I guess that's what I'll say. We didn't see the whole, everything that Shannon did and all of the connections that she was making and everything that she was doing. So I guess I can't really speak on everything. And I still don't really feel like I know a whole lot about Shannon other than her sort of spiritual, the spiritual side of her. Yeah, I don't know. One other sort of side note I want to say about Sage is that the other thing I sort of like about Sage happened last episode, and that was her story about she wasn't able to make connections. I don't know. I really like Sage just from these past couple of episodes, and I just sort of there's just more to her than I thought we were gonna get. And so I'm excited to see more from Sage. Yeah, that's what I'll say. But to your question, I'm not really sure. I think that I think Sage might be kind of right.
Yeah, and just real quick, I'm with you, Tori. I feel like I thought that Sage was all poop and pee jokes. And I was like, okay, this is all this woman is going to be. And you even get to this episode, she's talking about collecting blackheads. First of all,
I know.
Absolutely disgusting. Can you take a beat? Absolutely disgusting.
I was like, is that real?
But I'll tell you what, it's moments like these where we are reminded Sage is tapped in. Sage is not just some bumbling, poop and pee joke woman walking around this island. She is tapped in. And for her to be able to clock something like that, even the previous episode, look, I think she did the wrong thing with the information. But for her to get together with Jawan and go, dude, we are clearly on the bottom. We need to do something about this. I think Sage, I think she's a lot smarter than people are giving her credit for.
Absolutely. She's kind of like a Carolyn.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
What was the last thing you said?
Kind of like a Carolyn.
I see her.
Interesting, Janet. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I see Sage very differently.
Okay.
Okay.
I see her as a very dangerous player. If I was in the game, I'm saying this as if I was in the game. I think she's controlling a lot of people that they don't even know that she's controlling them.
Huh.
If I was in the game, I would be targeting her to get rid of her because I think she's a very smart player. I don't think she has the correct read on everybody and their motives. With that being said, I think she's going to make decisions of what people are trying to do, wrong or right, and she's going to counter it. I'm being too vague. I think she's going to set up to get rid of people that maybe she shouldn't get rid of right away because she has one take on them. I think she's really smart. As a player, I'd get rid of her right away because I think she's going to be very dangerous. down the line.
Oh.
I think she can manipulate people. I think she'll get people on her side and she'll get them to do her bidding. That's what I think. I think she reminds me of Missy from my season. And one conversation Missy and I had, Missy said, "Why are you coming after me?" Because I was going after Missy once we were on that island. I said, "Because you're the head. You're the head. You're controlling all the moves, And I think that's what she's doing."
Very interesting. Yeah. And that's what that's what I love about Survivor, right? It's we're all watching the same program and you're able to glean different things. And, similar to us having different opinions about a contestant or an episode, we have a lot of different opinions about the reward. This fruit here was a subject of conversation. Sophie,
unbelievable.
Sophie was not rocking with the fruit. Janet, are you team Sophie? Are you team fruit?
I would have jumped on top of her and said, "What are you saying? Be quiet."
That is too funny. Yeah, I found this moment really funny. I don't think it's every day that we see a contestant like straight up be like, "Yeah, Jeff, you have anything else?" I don't like it.
And I got to tell you, at that point in time, they wanted that fruit. They wanted that platter.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just couldn't believe she said that.
Yeah.
But what a challenge. I thought this was fun.
Yeah.
Again, this is our first time seeing two tribes since season 40, which is nuts.
Yep.
I can't even believe that is the case, but it is. And so this is, we don't see many two tribe challenges. And this was an interesting one. And what I sort of liked about this challenge is that there were multiple moments there were multiple hero moments for people to shine. These balance beams here, we saw that MC, I mean, genuinely MC, like, what can't she do? From a physical perspective,
freaking awesome.
It is unreal. But this was also, this
I just texted her too.
I love it.
Right before the show. I'm like, "Listen, girlfriend, I do, we got to talk."
This is where Matt also sort of showed that he was not able to get it done. And at the end here, I
was so frustrated. I love Matt, but I was worried for him because being an older contestant, you have to do certain things. And he did most of them and then didn't. I wish he didn't step up to the hero moment in this. I think that's what really did him in, because he was trying. I think, and I have no knowledge that this is true, but I think he stepped up in that hero moment to try and prove to his new tribe that he was valuable. And I really believe he probably, I don't know what happened to him, because I think he could have done it and he really stumbled along. But I believe that was his motive, this was his do or die moment. In the first challenge in my season, I stepped into the hero throwing the grappling hook. And I knew right at that moment, again, as the older person, I needed to establish myself in this tribe. Now, he did that in his original tribe, but now he's swapped and he's got a new group of people. And as an older person or the odd man out, whether you were the only woman or the only man or the only person of color or this, that, and the other thing, you want to try and establish yourself. And that was my opinion with Matt. And that's why he picked that hero moment. And I think he stressed himself out. I think he could have done it. And I think once he fell or the blocks fell the first time, he was like, "Oh my God," and it totally threw him off. Sorry, I went on a tantrum.
Do you think that would have been in the game though? Like,
what?
Do you think that would have made a difference for him though? Or do you think do you think he would have been still in the game?
Yes.
Really?
I think if he didn't take that hero moment, I think he was really trying to establish himself in his new tribe. He picked that way. There are other ways. I can't tell you whether those other ways back at camp, like I said, I'm going to be a provider. So I went out and I fished and I brought fish back and I made fire, that kind of thing. So there are other ways to establish yourself. But being the hero in a challenge is a fast way to do it. And I think that's what he did. And it just kicked him in the butt. know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I think it, like, even if he hadn't stepped into that role though, like he's still in the minority.
Mhm.
And so even like back at camp, like, so like let's say they still lose the challenge because like that balancing part of the challenge was hard. And
Mhm.
MC like probably still like could have pulled it out and beat the other tribes. So let's say they still lose the challenge. So now they're still back at camp being, you know, Jason versus Matt. He's still having to scramble back at camp and being like, I don't know, to having to figure something out to make it not be him. So I don't know. Like, I feel like he probably would have been in the same position. But you might be right that, like, if it hadn't been him stepping up to the plate,
I really believe that.
I don't know. Like, they might have won the challenge if that hadn't happened. So, you know,
They may have won the challenge, but even if they lost, if somebody else was in that position, I think Matt may not have been voted out.
You might be right. I mean, we'll never know. We will.
I think he was trying to put himself like, hey, I'm valuable. Look what I can do.
It seems like something he would do.
Yeah,
and I'll say, I mean, whenever anyone steps up to those hero positions, right, you live or die by what you're able to do.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, I get both perspectives. I'm somewhere in the middle for sure. But I do, obviously from here, we get Blue getting their first win as technically Blue Tribe. Of course, it's a whole new set of people. But back on the Hina camp, we have Rizzo. You know, people are scrambling. They're going to tribal tonight. Rizzo decides to share with Sophie that he has an idol.
Oh my God.
I mean, we have to get into this. And by the way, Janet, I just want to say, because you made a comment earlier, I wanted to jump on it immediately. You said, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. Janet, truly, like, this is what makes you one of the best guests, is that you are so open and happy to share your own experience and your actual thoughts on things. We would not want you here to just give a quick answer. Like, I'm happy to get into these. Truly, I never want you to feel like you need to apologize for that. What do you think about this? We already saw your reaction. You got to get going.
I love this kid, but he's going to shoot himself in the foot. He's awesome. Well, he reminds me of my Jack on my tribe, and Jack and I were extremely close, which nobody saw that. He's smart. He's scrappy. He is too honest and he's too open. He needs to hold things closer to the vest, but I don't think he has enough. I don't want to say life experience, because you could have a lot of life experience at his age, but he's too open.
Do you think this is a difference between new era and old era, or do you
100%?
Okay. Yeah. Because I think so too, you know, and ultimately he does end up finding it. But I think this is what you were saying earlier too, is that there's also a world, right? Savannah went and dug in the well, got the map, got the clue, and gave it right to Rizzo.
I know.
Like, Tori, do you think that it would have been smarter for Savannah to take that map and say, you know what?
Shove it in her shirt.
Right. Screw these guys. I'm going to go find this thing myself.
I was I'm sorry, Tori. I'll let you go, but I was screaming at the TV, going, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" All right, so go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, you're right. You're right. I feel like I have so many thoughts about this new era and the whole idea of sharing everything with everyone and your alliance and on your tribe. I'm just so over it at this point. And there are ways to not do that, even if you're in an alliance with someone. That being said, in this moment with Savannah, I just don't think it was in her best interest to do that. And I just don't think there was enough benefit to doing so, because all she needed was Rizzo's vote. All they needed was Rizzo's vote. Like, he lost his vote. All they needed to do was vote out one of the old Hina. And, like, that's all there was to it.
But could they have done it without telling him he got his vote back? Could she have done? That's the question.
But did she need to break his trust in that moment? Like, would
that would have broken his trust?
I think it would have broken. Wait, I just don't know. Like,
I'm
I mean-
putting myself on the island right now.
So I have not played Survivor, so perhaps I am losing in this moment, and I'm
No,
like,
you're not. You're not. This is like, this is what we do. This is what we do on the island.
I'm thinking, if I'm putting myself in Savannah's shoes, I'm thinking there's really no benefit to me like keeping this a secret, holding on to it, and then like Rizzo finding out later that I held on to it without telling him. And now my old Alliance member is now pissed off at me that I didn't tell him. And now he's no longer like wanting to work with me. Like, I just don't see a benefit to that.
Okay, I hear you. But I also know, again, remember when we talked earlier about you have an idea of a swap coming up or a merge or something, you know, the game's going to change.
Uh-huh.
That's the other part of it. When you're that close and something, and you know, like, you're like, shit, something's coming down the line very soon. If I put this in my shirt, he's not going to get his vote, but it's not really going to change the outcome of tribal council. I don't think it would have. I still don't think it would have. But, you know, is this going to benefit me personally when something happens? I mean, I'm telling you, I was like, why are you telling all these people that you found this thing? It was freaking me out.
I will say, I'll tell you where I land on this. And by the way, like, this is you're. I think you got the right idea, Janet. Like, this is what makes podcasting interesting.
Yeah.
It would be awful if we all agreed. So Tori, I love that you're giving your thought. Janet, you're giving yours, and I'm going to give mine here. I would love to see a world where, you know, to your exact point, Tori, I don't think it's worth creating all this mistrust, but I think that there's a world where she can go dig up this map and then go find the idol herself and go, guys, we got it.
Yes.
We have the idol. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
As I put it in my shirt.
We are going to use this together. Anyways, I'll keep this here. And it's one of those things where, once again, it's similar to it's literally exactly what Rizzo did, right? Where he's going, this is our idol, like this is tribe idol. This thing is his. Whether he uses it on the tribe or not is all his prerogative. But what's great is that the illusion is it's our idol. And if I was Savannah, I think that I would go try to find it and go, hey guys, I wanted to make sure, like, look, it's a swap. I didn't know if they got the same clue. I wanted to make sure that we found it. I've got it here. Like, this is only going to be used for our tribe. Our tribe. Remember, we all searched together. We all love each other. Our idol. And you know, and like, obviously from a television perspective too, I would just love a little bit of extra drama created. But I do think that there's a world where Savannah can do it and maybe get out, you know, with just more agency and not completely torch all of her relationships. But
I like Phil's thing. Phil, you win. But
please,
wait, I have a question. Are these like normal idols that are all good until like Final Five?
So it is yes, it is my understanding, Tori, that yes, these are full blown idols.
Yeah.
But I also just want to call out really quick before we go to this next slide here. There does seem to be a mismatch in how tough some of these things are to find. Tell me why Alex had to walk around with a ball and freaking chain, something that would never be seen on Survivor, like inexplainable. And Rizzo over here just had to find it in a treasure box in the ocean.
In clear water, that's like drinking glass water.
Right. One of these seems a whole lot easier than the other, no?
100%.
And I know that rock that he found it at. I know exactly where he is.
Well, and the ball and chain one, arguably, like, cannot be done with just one person. Like you arguably have to tell somebody about that.
Right. I agree. And that's what
by the way, I was looking at the ball and chain one. I hear you two again. And I was putting myself on the island and I was trying to figure out how I could do that without anybody seeing it. I'm not sure I came up with the answer, but I don't know. I think I could have a little bit.
There we go.
I mean, you're a strong woman, Janet. You are.
I would have carried that shit, and I would have put it all inside of my shirt, and I would have trunked around.
You could
at least for a little while.
I have no doubt in my mind that you could do it. I don't know. A lot of people probably couldn't. Let's just say that.
Now,
MC could have.
Absolutely, that I believe. Now, look, while Rizzo's finding an idol, Matt is over here fighting for his life, and with love, with respect. Both Matt and Jason, I think, did a sorry job at trying to advocate for themselves.
Absolutely.
sadly, it is who did the worst of the two, bad, sort of bad performances. And I think that Matt, I think he went home for a reason. I think that what he was doing here, talking to each person on original Uli, I believe, and essentially like trying to conjure up a world where it's like, hey, let's get Nate. Let's take someone from your, side out. I'm not sure what he was thinking with this. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. The second that he did this, I was like, oh no, oh no, this is not good. Obviously, we have all the information. We know that they are all very close. And they really like Nate. What did you two think about this, Tori? What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the right move. It wasn't a good idea to throw out a name. It's just not a good idea to throw out a name when you don't know for sure that you have the numbers. It's not a good idea to really throw out a name in general. I hear it's just like not really like a solid. It's not a solid plan. Let's just say, unless you know for sure that you're like really really tight with your alliance and like at the top of an alliance. But even then, it can be very risky. I think it might have been a better idea to either like just say that he's playing a shot in the dark or plan on playing a shot in the dark, because what does he have to lose really by playing his shot in the dark, because he's at the bottom of the numbers, and that could have been like one potential way for him to be safe, or just find out like who are they voting for, like what can he do to be safe, like how can I vote with you guys, how can I work with you, how can I be a number. That might have been the best thing. Like, how can I just like roll over, surrender, like live to fight another day? I think that might have been his better play. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but those were kind of like my two ways of thinking. Like when you literally have, it's either me or one other person at this point. I think those were his two options.
I agree with you. And what I will say is I go back to, there were two things that I wanted to remember the other thing I wanted to say to you. Oh yeah. So when he's talking to her, all I kept thinking is don't say a name, don't say a name, don't say a name. What he needed to do was to get her to say a name. So I think, I'm telling you guys, I empathed him. When he got tribe swapped, he went, holy shit, I got to redo myself as the outsider, the old guy. How do I get in? And I think, again, I think he felt defeated and weak and tired and had to redo all of those things to make his spot within the tribe. And he went about it wrong. And I'm not faulting him. He went about it trying to point a finger at other people, like you were saying, Tori, instead of saying, look at how I can benefit you. Look at me. I'm just going to use me. I can start fires. I can catch fish. I can, build shelters. How can I think his angle was wrong. And I think it was because he was tired. And I think, the position he was at before the swap was good. It was a good position. Then he goes into this new tribe and it's not good. And he's like, I put all my energy into making myself valuable. Now I got to do. And I think he was just, hungry, tired, and didn't have the wherewithal. And he went about it wrong. Instead of pointing fingers at other people, he should have been edifying how he was valuable.
And it's like I was saying earlier, I do feel bad a lot of times in the game of Survivor when you just get dealt a bad hand after, spending all of this time, winning the immunities and building all these good connections. Like he was on the right side of the numbers, even on his tribe. And then, he gets dealt this unfortunate hand of getting on this tribe where he was on the wrong side of the numbers. And now all of a sudden he's on the chopping block. So I did feel bad for him.
But good people need to figure that out.
Yeah, that's.
You need to figure it out. I had a boss say to me once when, I'm running the beach with 1 million lifeguards and things like that. And some issues came up, hurricanes and things like that. And I was like Matt, I was all defeated. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to? And he looked at me and he says, we're in the business of solving problems.
Mm.
And that's what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the one thing that I will say is just, it is what it is, right? I don't think Jason did that much better over here. A very different approach. And to your point, Janet, I think that the main difference that I think did help Jason here is that Jason never said a name.
Right.
But once again, he sort of kept to, I still love my hyenas. I'm not going to vote for a hyena. I'm just going to use my shot in the dark. And it was a very defensive sort of play, where I think that Matt's play was an attempt at being a more aggressive play that just did not work.
I agree.
Jason had a more defensive play of, look, I'm using my shot in the dark, and I sort of I would ask, which one do you think is generally a more better play? But I do think that we saw here that I do think that it's this play. You can't throw out a name without knowing the dynamic. There was no way for Matt to know that the man that you're throwing out, Nate is in.
Yeah.
People like Nate.
Yeah.
Nate is not just some schlup on the tribe or a leader that everyone's ready to get rid of. He is almost in a position where he's like heart and soul of the tribe. People are not going to take to that. For Jason saying, well, I'm using a shot in the dark. Sure. It definitely annoyed Savannah. We get the confessional from Savannah where she's like, this guy won't, he doesn't want to turn on his tribe.
Yeah, but why? Why was Savannah annoyed that he was going to use a shot in the dark? I'll answer it if you don't want to, because then fingers would point at her.
Right. And I also think that part of it is that, it's like in the long run, it shows loyalty with Jason. Him not wanting to flip on his hyenas in the future. There's a world where there's an argument to be made where it's like, if you get in with me, you're going to be like my hyenas. I won't flip on you.
Right.
For Matt to immediately throw someone out, oh, whatever. It shows a struggle where it's like, oh, I wouldn't want to be on the other side of that, And, I do think that Jason played this slightly better, but I think that the both of them, could have played this a little bit differently. And
I don't think Jason felt as defensive about trying to find a place in the tribe. I think Jason felt a little more connected to the other people.
It seems like you sort of said this a little bit, but do you feel like that's an age thing?
I do.
There we go.
I do. But I will tell you this. All of my life, I have never had a problem connecting with people younger. And I really think the problem when you have problems with that, I think it's the older person's problem. I really do. Because, and I think it might just be my life that I was a coach and a swimmer and, I was in charge of 200 crazy lifeguards of 16 to, 40 ages, and all these men and, I just think that life experience benefited me where Jeff asked me this. He says, why do you connect with the young guys so much? I said, because I want to play. There's no sexual tension. I don't judge them. I want to be with them. I've had 16-year-olds give me good advice and I'm willing to take it. Where a lot of older people get this, I'm older, I should know more. That's not always true. And I think that's kind of where Matt may have had a problem. Not through fault of his own.
I also think that Jason, he kind of maybe said a little too much where he
oh my God,
oh, I'm hyena strong, whatever. But he also kind of knew when to shut up. He was kind of quiet.
Yeah.
That was talking. He was just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what would stick.
I think that's that nerves. I'm going to go do something to make it better.
Yeah, sometimes there's a time when you should be doing that because there are times where it's what does a player have to lose?
Right.
But at this point, like, I think it was to their benefit to just like stay quiet and be like, okay, how do you want me to vote? Like,
Right.
Tori,
all you
I
can
think that Tori, I think that you hit the nail right on the head. That was my that was my thought too. I was like, Matt, he's not even going one way with his
Right.
aggression approach. He's going every way. And the next thing you know, I mean, this conversation with Juwan, and by the way, this is actually where I do want to compliment Juwan. Can I tell you, I was sold. I thought that Juwan was actually feeling this conversation here
Yeah.
when he's Matt is telling me, he goes, look, you feel like you're at the bottom. This is a chance for you to be at the top. If you usurp Nate, it'll be us at the top, whatever. So like, oh, wait, that's fire. That's, oh my God, that's amazing. I didn't think about that. And I was like, oh my God, he's got Juwan, because look at that reaction. And then you get the confessional where Juwan's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's like, that's a stupid idea. And I was like, honestly, go you, Juwan. Like, you sold me on the other side of the screen here.
You really did. Yeah.
But I do think that it's a moment like this where, Matt is doing, like, for what it's worth, he's thinking. This man is not sitting down and dying, which I do respect. I want to make sure I also, compliment here.
Respect. Absolutely.
Did a lot wrong, but this man was trying. He was out here giving it his all. Even just what he was trying to sell Juwan on here had some legs in the, if you squint your eyes and look in the distant, far away, I get what he was trying to do here, but it was just, I don't think that he was appealing to the right people at the right time.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that, weirdly enough, I mean, it is what it is. You played, Janet. Yeah. I think that what you said is also, like, that's perfect. He should have just put out feelers like, hey, I want to do whatever it takes to stay here.
Right.
Let people tell him a name and then move with that.
Yes.
But doing all this and trying to be the first one to jump, the whole thing is, at the end of the day, you're talking to all these people. This is what it looks like at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. They're getting back together and they're going to conference and say, oh, that guy go up to you too? Yeah, he did. What did he say to you? And it's like, you got to know when this is happening. And it's hard to be positive, but you want to be on the side of safety because it's a fresh swap. If you can remember, Janet, when you swapped, like, sure, you were making these new connections, but did you still feel like there was a little bit of this, like where your original?
Oh yeah. It goes back to, when you first get to the island, those bonds that you make, the trauma bonds. You make trauma bonds. These people have made trauma bonds. Yeah. Your trauma bonds are very hard to break. So Matt coming into that, he can do it. He can work his way in, but he's got to remember there's a bond that those people are going to have because they've been together that much longer and gone through stuff.
And everyone can't be Sophie.
And I don't think, and I don't think Matt realized that. He didn't. I think he was so scared. I can't wait to talk to him. I want to talk to him. Yeah. I think he was so scared or nervous or apprehensive to try and find his place. He overshot himself and didn't think about what you're saying with these three. They're bonded on a level that those three are bonded on.
The other thing too that I do want to say, and kind of to our previous point of like, hey, just to give him credit, like he was trying. Yeah. I think like maybe like some of these players get out there and maybe recognize that they've seen players just kind of like roll over and seemingly not try when they're in like a similar position. And like, so like I think that maybe he just wanted to like do everything that he possibly could. And so I do want to give him like some credit to like like he was doing what he felt like he needed to do or like could do. And I do think he did one thing right, and that was like talk to the person that he perceived to be on the bottom, which was Juwan. Like I know that we're saying like he was kind of talking to the wrong people. Like I do think that like Savannah was kind of like the wrong person.
Yeah, Savannah was the wrong person. But Juwan was the
Juwan was like a good person to maybe like try to form something with, because he's like, okay, like maybe I can get Juwan, Jason, and Sophie. Like that could be a thing. Yeah. I don't think that it was the right call to like be throwing a name out there. And I don't think that Nate was the right name to even be throwing out there. But yeah, you got to give him credit for, trying to put something together. And he obviously had this like whole, what was it, like the section thing. He obviously had cooked that up like prior to.
By
Like,
the way, Sandra's not real happy with his comments.
Oh my gosh, how did we skip over that? Yeah.
oh my
Yeah,
God,
she's not happy.
Two
Oh my
times.
She says Queen will be queen, and Queen has shown it twice.
Let me tell you, twice he said it. One time when he was deliberating, and one time at this very location that they are going to become very familiar with.
Yes.
Tribal. He says it again. He brings it the
She was not happy. She was
Oh, my
like,
gosh.
hey, I'm,
That is definitely a tribal highlight.
I think when she sees him, that will be interesting.
What other highlights did y'all pick up from tribal? From Matt, from Jason, sort of arguing their case, the rest of the tribe. Anything coming to mind?
I mean, just like Matt sort of like stumbling over like his words a little bit when Nate was like, what did Nate bring up? I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, I don't know, maybe you guys can help me out. What did Nate bring up?
I got you. Because that is my highlight that I was going to bring up.
Okay, go for it.
Is when Matt's like, oh, I haven't really been saying name. Like essentially Nate called him out on being like, oh, Matt, you did say my name and I've heard it.
Yeah.
And like I will be,
he got very tongue-tied.
Yes. And for me, and I agree. Everyone's been talking about Nate being like, he's this big Hollywood producer, but there's so much about him that just feels so grounded. And you wouldn't even think that he was this big Hollywood. This was the first time that I saw like Hollywood producer Nate being like, oh no, I'm the boss here. Like,
bitch, just listen to me.
Right. I was like, oh my God, Nate. Like he's going out either way. You don't have to do him like this.
No, yeah. I was a little scared. I was like,
yeah. Like Nate got tough. But I also appreciate that where it's like when someone is saying your name, I was surprised, but I appreciated Nate. So that was a highlight for me from trying. Nate being like, oh, you said my name, Matt, and I heard it. It got back to me. And,
that was very old school Survivor.
Yes, you got it. Yes,
because we did it on our season and lots of other seasons. You called people out on their shit.
I love an old school moment.
Yeah, that was an old school
moment. That was
my
highlight for sure.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you all think that Jason was actually going to play a shot in the dark? Because he ultimately does not. And I do want to sort of talk about the fact that him walking around saying that he is going to, and then ultimately not, does that now look bad for him moving forward? But let's start with, did you think that he was going to play it?
I feel like I couldn't give you a yes or a no. What I feel like is he knew going into that tribal that they were going to vote for Matt. I really believe that. I think, because there's a lot of talk that goes on ahead of time. And I think he felt pretty secure. I don't have a reason for that. Because I think if he did not feel secure, he would have played his shot in the dark.
Yeah.
But I think he felt very secure. I don't think it's going to hurt him because I think, again, this is just me being, guessing what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And I think we're pretty good at it. I think he knew that he was going to be okay and didn't need to play it.
What about you, Tori? Did you think he was going to be playing a shot in the dark at this tribal?
I'm with Janet. I don't think that there was like enough talk about it or enough focus on it for me to really even be like thinking about him playing the shot in the dark. So I almost even like forgot about it. So I didn't expect him to play it. So I kind of like in retrospect, I think that there was probably like a conversation that we didn't see that was like, I don't know, somebody telling him like, hey man, you're good. Like you don't need to play it. Like we're voting Matt. And I guess there was like some level of trust there where he believed them.
Right.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest. I thought that he was going to play it. And I think that I thought he was going to play it just because and this is why I asked the follow-up question that I am excited to hear what you all think about this. If you tell everyone that you're going to be playing your shot, I feel like you ought to play it because what now? Is everyone just not going to trust you? Like, and maybe I'm overblowing this because I'm also thinking about it now and I'm like, well, what does it matter? He still has it and they didn't vote him off. But do you feel like there's any repercussions from telling everyone you're going to play your shot? and then you don't do it.
We're not going to know that until we see the next couple seasons, shows, episodes, because again, like Tori was saying, there may have been discussion and that shot in the dark wasn't even a question anymore.
I see.
Okay. And if it was a question, like you're saying, which I don't think it was,
Right.
I think he knew, that could be a problem in the future.
Gotcha.
But he also could have gone into that tribal saying, hey guys, I'm going to play my shot in the dark based on what I hear at tribal.
Yeah.
Right.
Straight up say that. And I bet you he
Right.
said that.
Yeah. You're right.
Well, look, at the end of the day here, fallen soldier Matt.
It made me sad.
Yeah. Any final words for the young lad?
I think he did a good job with what he did on the show. I think he needed to, there's a lot more things he could have done for his tribe that I think he should have done on the side, like not as a big show, like start the fire. He knew how to start fire.
Yeah.
He let his tribe go without fire. Start the fire, like, and be humble about it or quiet about it. Like that's kind of what I did. And I think he could have ingratiated himself better. So when he went into the swap, he wasn't going to be as emotionally upheavaled. I think he kind of did himself in, is what I'm saying. And it makes me sad because I think he could have been a really good player.
Yeah. I agree. I think in some aspects, kind of like to your point, Janet, I think that he could have leaned into who he was in terms of like being the provider and just kind of being the old guy. Like, and he kind of did that in some ways. He wasn't trying to like, I don't know, like be like some sort of like young dude trying to like use young guy lingo or something like that. He wasn't trying to be that. But yeah, I think he could have like just leaned into being like the provider and just been that guy. And I think people would have appreciated that. I think one thing we learned from him though is why some people lie about their profession, like, lie about being in these like smart guy roles. Like I think people just don't trust that. So people don't trust finance guys. People don't trust lawyers. I guess I get that. I always laugh at that, especially the lawyer thing. But I guess I'm starting to understand why.
Yeah, because they can give a good speech.
Yeah, well, Savannah not trust him for like being a finance bro. So
I'll tell you what, Savannah is so entertaining at the least. She is so entertaining. Her being like, yeah, I think Matt is a sociopath because because he used to work in finance. I was like, wait, what? But it's also like
I'm going to tell you, I think Savannah's going to go far in the game.
Absolutely. I think she's got to go. I think she might be our winner. My original winner pick was Sophie B from Blue, but I think it might be Savannah, you guys. I don't know.
I'm not picking a winner yet, but I think Savannah's going to be at the end, and I want my girl to be there, but...
Wait a second. Janet, what are you waiting for? This is episode 4.
Yeah.
When are you going to pick a winner? On the finale?
I want MC to be my girl at the end, but I think she may value herself out at the end. I think Savannah has a good shot. I think she's smart. She's crafty. She can read people. She knows how to get them on their side. And I think she's going to be smart enough to keep people around her that she knows she can beat.
Now, it's interesting. Something about MC that you said there. One thing about MC that I don't know if you follow preseason. MC is actually not a longtime fan of Survivor.
No, I didn't know.
Yes, which in a weird way is why I think that she's doing so well right now. She's watched enough to know what's going on. She's not completely clueless out there, but she also isn't overthinking a bunch of things.
Right.
She's sort of keeping it to like, level 2 or 3 Survivor. She's not up at level cajillion where you're doing all this. And I think that those types of players tend to do actually a lot better to, some of them, of course, I think that because she's able to play with like a smoothness of not having the weight of 48 seasons that you've watched on your back where you feel like you need to, remember everything that you've ever learned from the show. But what I think about MC, I think that she is going to I think that there's going to be some time later in the game where her lack of knowledge about the show
is going to hurt her.
I think we have not seen it yet, but I don't know why.
I agree with you.
That's just really that's
And I'm gonna cry when that happens.
I am too.
I'm gonna cry. I'm telling you, she is me 30 years ago. You know, the physicality, all of that kind of stuff. And she's like, I'm going after this. Get on my shoulders. Get me up there. Let me do it. And I do think it's going to, somewhere along the line, that's going to bite her in the ass unless she learns how to bring the other emotional or social part into it.
Right.
And I don't know if she is. She might be. I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, Phil, who's your winner pick?
Oh,
me or him?
She was asking me. I started off this season. I said Jason. Now look, much like Janet, you know that's I threw that out at the start. You got to wait a little bit to make a true winner pick. I feel like by episode 4, you got to lock something in because at that point it's like, what are we?
I think Jason's going to be in the top 3.
Okay, that's interesting. What I will say, if I have to pick a winner pick right now, I was going to compliment you.
It could be Jason.
No, I think it's Sophie B.
Do you?
Yes. That's why I was saying, Tori, when you said I at first thought Sophie B, and now I'm thinking Savannah, I was like, Tori, you know how to pick them because I don't think that I was looking at Sophie B at all until I started watching her play this game. I think that Sophie B, to this point, has played the best game of anyone on this season so far.
Like, I'm
disagree with both of you.
We're gonna
Let's hear it, Janet. Let's hear it.
I just think she's too out there.
Huh.
She is going to drive everybody. She's going to drive everybody on the tribes crazy.
Sophie?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Like, I think she's going to definitely make it far. I just think that she's going to be one of those people that's going to be down to like the top 6 or top 5, and they're going to be like, oh, she has too good of a story. We got to get her out. Like,
I think they're going to pull her along for a vote and feel like they can control her vote. If I was playing, that's where I would be at. I'm going to keep her under my wing. I got this girl, this, spiritual person. Right. I got her. She's, and they're going to keep her. And the problem will come in if she wins challenges at the very end.
Now, look, ladies, we have been yapping for an hour and a half. No, please, no apology needed, Janet. You are genuinely one of my favorite guests to have on the show.
You're a queen.
Because you actually like talking about this stuff.
I do.
And I'm someone, you can tell, you can ask Ali, like, I'm just a nut about Survivor. I love talking about Survivor, and I love disagreeing with people, always respectfully, but it's just it's just like, this is what it's all about. I love when I get on with people and we have different opinions and we're able to talk, and the guest is really filling up time. And so I want to thank you. And just so you know, usually we do the tribe is posted. This week, Ollie is not in, so we are going to sort of skip over this. Okay. And that's why I'm happy that we got to get some extra time with you. We got to have Johnny Fairplay come in. We got
we
got to have some extra time with you, because I think that it is definitely, higher, just very valued. So thank you.
It's been fun. You guys are fun. That's why I wanted to do it with you guys. I didn't want to do the things that are
and Tori, it is not every week that I get to podcast with you, Tori.
I know, it's been a blast. This was such a good time. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, anytime you're welcome to come in. Janet, before we go, anything that you got going on that you want to talk to folks about?
Yes, I have 2 things. In December, I'll be going to Over the Edge. And it's a event where there's about 140 reality stars, and we raise money for all of our charities. And if you're interested, it's OTECelebrityweekend.com. You can look at tickets and things of that nature. And I will be I only host 2 watch parties a year, and it's for the premiere. I skipped this last one. But I am going to do season 50. I do a premiere, and it's every dime of it goes to all of our charities. We do not pocket a dime. Survivors and other reality stars come. They stay here at my house. I can't say that we don't have a blast. We do. We have a big barbecue the night before the finale or the watch party, and it's just a lot of fun. And but at the same time, Survivor 50 watch party charity event. watch for it coming out on my social media.
You got it. Janet, thank you so much. Tori, what do you got coming up?
I don't have a lot coming up. I do plan on going to perhaps the Bryce and Wen event in Chicago in November. So if anybody's in the Chicagoland area, Chicago is one of the best cities in the world. So you two should come on out to Chicago sometime. I'd love to hang. And perhaps also the finale in New York. I'm still thinking about that. So hopefully some Survivor 50 events too. We're not sure about that yet, but it'd be awesome to see some fans. It'd be awesome to see some podcast people. And Janet, I'd love to see you sometime. So we'll see. Hopefully the charity event or something like that.
That'd be great.
There we go. And if you look over to the side here, you can see our weekly schedule. Next week, as always, we've got the pre-show, the after show, Survivor Social, Stock Watch, and another Got Something for you. So do not miss a single episode of all the programming we have over here on Survivor Now. And Tori, I have two sisters in Chicago. I very well might pop out for
You better.
that awesome
That'd be awesome. I also forgot to say, everyone, I also do the pre-show every week. So come on our live, comment, and let me know how hot my takes are.
Do it. Do it, people. Do it.
I love it. Janet, thank you so much. Folks in the chat, thank you so much. We will be back next week for another episode of Got Something For You. Until then, see ya.